Ladies and gentlemen, in this new technological and environmental epoch, the discrepancies in the quality of life are increasing globally. It is critical to plan for a better world ahead. Hence, the theme for IAPEX 2024's forum is Sustainable Futures, the Road Ahead.
Now, we all know that Pakistan is one of the most adversely affected countries in the world by climate change. Ironically, its contribution to factors leading to global warming is only 1%.
The major contributions to the adverse effects of climate change have been ignited and accelerated by Western Europe, the US, and its allies in industrialization. After realizing the effects of environmental degradation, the West has started adopting sustainable strategies to mitigate and even reverse the effects of climate change.
These strategies included issuing and constantly upgrading specific guidelines and bylaws to curb the damage caused by the industrial policies based on their experience.
Developing countries now face the dilemma of following the sustainability criteria published for developed countries. To impose foreign guidelines on a country with dissimilar experiences will not yield similarly favorable results. Hence, the requirement to redefine sustainability in Pakistan to equip ourselves for sustainable futures is more imminent than ever.
In the wake of global impacts affecting developing countries, a meaningful, sustainable future would most likely be coming from within an indigenous solution. In this forum, we embark on a journey to explore the meaning and the application of sustainability in the local context.
This year's forum outlines two broad categories for discussion and discourse. The first forum session's theme is the identity of sustainability. Forum 1 revolves around questions of identity, relevance, and a contextual definition of sustainability. It will discuss the achievability of sustainability criteria and goals for projects in local contexts.
The objective is to explore and discuss topics that dwell into the identity of sustainable architecture, specifically in Pakistan.
So next, I would like to call Chairman IAPRIC, Architect Abdullah Khan, to please come over and address the crowd.
Please give him a huge hand.
Please give him a huge hand.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Federal Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Works, Dr. Shehzad Khan Bangash, you honor us by being our chief guest in today's forum, sir. We welcome you. For your participation. Esteemed guests from other eminent sectors of the built environment, we welcome you all to IAPEX 2024. Thank you for coming. As we gather here for the inauguration ceremony of IAPEX 2024, we are reminded of the critical role architects play in shaping our future. Our commitment here at IAP is to leave behind a better and more sustainable world for our future generations. This, as some of you might have seen, is evident in the initiatives we have undertaken within our community on a national level and more specifically at the Rawalpindi and Islamabad chapter level. IAPEX 2024 marks the first of many steps towards achieving our goal of sustainable futures. With the central theme set as sustainable futures, we urge our community and industry partners to join us in this journey. In addition, we have curated a lineup of forum speakers that are experts of the industry in sustainability. Following our speeches, we will be having a series of lectures, presentations, and panel discussions, which are designed to discuss the identity of sustainability in the local context. Day 2 will deal with the applications of this particular sustainable initiatives. Our commitment to realizing a sustainable future is unwavering. I invite each one of you to be a part of this endeavor and join us in making our dream of a sustainable future a reality. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Abdullah. Now we would like to call upon the convener of this forum, Architect Mehreen Muzaffar, to come on stage and share her thoughts. Please give her a huge hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaruk and Shajia. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my warmest welcome to each of you to our Architecture Forum on Sustainable Futures. It's truly an honor to convene such a distinguished forum of architects, designers, planners, students, our industry partner, who are committed to shaping and planning a better tomorrow through sustainable architecture. I am so thankful to Chairman, Architect Abdullah Khan, for giving the opportunity to convene this forum. My team, Architect Ravida, Sana Ijaz, because it's a teamwork. It's not possible without the effort of very good players. So I'm so thankful to all of them. Regarding the theme of our forum, Sustainable Future, it underscores our sheer vision for a world where architecture harmonizes with the nature, where buildings are not just a structure, but the living, breathing entities that enhance the well-being of both people and the planet. As an architect, we have the power to shape the way we live, work, and interact with the surroundings. We have the opportunity to reimagine our cities, buildings, and community in the way that are regenerative, inclusive, and resilient. And the key to the collaboration is the networking, is sustainability. The collaboration is the sustainable key. So we try to achieve this by arranging this forum. And it's my pleasure to have our guest as Dr. Shehzad Khan Bangesh, the Ministry of Housing people, and Federal Government Housing Authority people. So I would not take further time, and thank you so much, all of you. And to all the students and the volunteer who have made this forum a very good, a big round of applause for all of you.
Thank you for your thoughts, ma'am. Next, I would like to call the President of Institute of Architects, Pakistan, Architect Zulfikar Ali, to please come on stage and address the audience. Please give him a big round of applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Shehzad Khan Bangesh Sahab, esteemed senior architects, former President IAP and Arcasia Jahangir Khan Sherpao Sahab, Honorary Secretary Tahir Khatak Sahab, National Council members, Chairman RIC Abdullah Khan Sahab, Convener IAPEX 2024 Fawad Suhail Abbasi, Co-convener Kasha Noman Ehsan, Convener Forum, Architect Mehreen Muzaffar. Practicing architects, young graduates, fellow IAP members, our sponsors and friends. A hearty welcome to all of you at the inaugural ceremony of the Forum, Identity of Sustainability. Allow me to provide a brief overview of the Institute of Architects Pakistan. The Institute of Architects Pakistan, IAP, was established in 1957, is dedicated to organizing and promoting the architectural profession and education. It played a pivotal role in founding our regulatory body, PCATP, representing Pakistan on esteemed international platforms like UIA, CAA, RKSH, and SARC. IAP advises and collaborates with the local government authorities on various architectural matters. Currently, IAP has over 2,600 associates and 3,100 student affiliate members across its 6 chapters. These chapters host numerous events annually, fostering professional growth and networking opportunities. The Board of Architecture Education, BAE IAP, plays a crucial role in nurturing architectural talent and organizing educational initiatives. Together, as we gather to explore the latest innovation in the building material and discuss strategies for sustainable design, let us be guided by the shared commitment of stewardship and responsibility. Let us recognize that the challenges we face are immense, but two are the opportunities for a positive change. Focusing on sustainability in our region is crucial. We must tailor our approach to suit our unique context. Taking into account the diversity across our nation, it's important to avoid simply importing technologies without considering Pakistan economy, culture, and overall system. I commend our active discussion on implementing sustainability. In the past, local concern often took a back seat to the commercial interests. Rather than reinventing the wheel, we must identify what works best for our region. Enabling people to readily embrace sustainable solutions. I have constantly stressed that sustainability is a global issue, and it's imperative that we amplify our voices. It's not solely the responsibility of the few. It concerns our entire nation. Events like IAPEX raise awareness among not only the professional tasked with the sustainability, but also among all those impacted by these challenges. In the realm of architecture and construction, our choices have profound implications for the world we inherit. Every brick laid, every frame erected carries with it a potential to either perpetuate the status quo of environmental degradation or to forge a path toward a greener and more resilient future. As we embark on this journey together, let us remember that the decision we make today will reverberate for the generations to come. Let us strive to leave a legacy of stewardship and innovation, ensuring that the buildings we create serve not just the need of the present, but the aspiration for the future. As a critical thinker, architects strive to achieve these attributes in a built environment, inculcating in them right from the beginning in their architectural schools, till the endless journey of their professional life. The technocrats, architects are supposed to be the frontline force to work for achieving the sustainability built environment, and by giving them opportunities to be an effective part of the future policy making can result into a dynamic and robust policies to encounter the future challenges of sustainability and climate change. As we say, right person for the right job. In the end, I would once again congratulate the entire IAPEX team, RIC, the entire organizing committee for this mega event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request the chief guest of this afternoon's forum, Dr. Shehzad Khan Banga. She's the Federal Secretary of the Ministry of Housing and Works, to come on the stage and share his thoughts. Please give him a huge round of applause, everyone. Thank you.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. President IAP, Architect Zulfikar Ali. Chairman IAP, Rawalpindi-Islamabad Chapter Architect Abdullah Khan. Convener IPEX 2024 Architect Fawad Suhail Abbasi. Eminent Senior Fellows of IAP, members of the architectural profession, industry partners, exhibitors, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is a matter of great pleasure and honor to address this esteemed gathering at IAPEX Architectural Forum 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, architects and engineers are the builders of a nation. Architects conceive and design, and the engineers execute. And we must also emphasize the importance of industry and skilled labor in this process. There's a need for visionary architects who should be leading and guiding the nation building process through their expertise in architecture and town planning. And this they must do in the most sustainable way. We must conserve environment by protecting, preserving, managing, and restoring natural environment and the ecological communities that inhabit them. Now let's see what is sustainability, or for that matter, what I understood from sustainability. I would say anything and everything that is closer to nature is sustainable. Anything that follows the law of the nature So in your context, in today's context, for what we have gathered, when I was thinking of what should be sustainable, or what we can call sustainable, is that it should be economical and cost effective. Anything that is not economical or not affordable is not sustainable. Should be indigenous. I'm sure you will speak about it. Practical and practicable. Implementable in the local context. We cannot implement something that our people do not know. So your eyes can only see what your mind knows, and your hands would only do what your mind has trained your hands to do. Inputs and materials commonly and readily available. It should be maintainable. If it's not maintainable, it's not sustainable. And sensitive to local cultural norms. And most importantly, environmentally friendly. So like I said, if it's away from the nature, if it's away from the laws of nature, it's not sustainable. I would like to share my decade-long experience of working in UN and observing some of the local architectural and building practices in Kosovo, a small province of erstwhile Serbia and former Yugoslav Republic. It was so easy to build a house. I've seen houses coming up, just like that during the summer season, because they have a very short window of construction. Design was simple and modular. It was sensitive to local culture and climatic conditions. Almost every house looked the same, with some variations. Material was mainly locally manufactured. Their bricks were very, insulated because they needed to keep their houses warm during the long spells of winters, made up of the local clay. And most communities were well versed in building techniques. They would not depend on. So we need to not only produce indigenously, but also our workmanship should be trained in a way that they can take what your visions are as we go on building our communities. So building a house was an event full of joy and pride, and each member of the household would happily and proudly participate. Here it is not the case. We do not go and even pick a brick to help our mason. It's something alien to us. Well, in villages people do, but we हाथ से काम करने को हम बुरा समझते हैं या कमतर समझते हैं. However, the town planning and urban development was completely haphazard and chaotic, and therefore unsustainable and environmentally disastrous. This is exactly the case in our country. Speaking about our country, we have a rather complicated building practice and norms. Architecture commonly has moved quite far away from our conventional designs. I would draw your attention to two V's as I was thinking about it. Two V's are missing from our architecture, from our houses, I would say, not architecture. Architecture is a big, because I can only think in this limited context. So forgive me for being, taking examples from what is so basic for you guys. One V is veranda or any ventilators. So ventilation, as a child I remember, if you did not have fans, you would open two ventilators and your room would be circulated with air. Similarly, the bricks, I don't see anymore either mud construction or the mud bricks. I remember people would make their own mud bricks and build houses, and then they would very neatly plaster them. So these were some examples that came to mind, and I'm sure when you people, experts discuss, you have much more knowledge and training and expertise to come up with such ideas, how to indigenize the building materials. I urge all participants to seize this opportunity to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and envision a future where sustainability is not just a goal, but a way of life. Together, let us redefine sustainability in the Pakistani context and embark on a journey towards a greener, more resilient tomorrow. As the Secretary of the Housing and Works Division, I am committed to participating in this important conversation. I believe that our ministry has a crucial role to play in shaping policies and practices that prioritize sustainability in our built environment through our two entities, that is Pakistan Environmental Planning and Architectural Consultants, PPAC, and Pakistan Council of Architects and Town Planners, PCATP. By engaging with stakeholders, fostering innovation, and championing indigenous solutions, we can lead the way towards a more sustainable future for Pakistan. I thank you all for inviting me and giving me this honor, and I wish you a very successful event for this day and the 2 days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Shahzad. Next, I would like to invite our sponsor, Happy Lac, to please come to the stage and share a presentation.
Please give them a huge round. Where is Happy Luck?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the entire IAP community, including the president, chairman, and the convener as well, for providing us this opportunity to present here our products and our company profile and our views. And thank you so much for providing us this opportunity, sir. My name is Muhammad Ahsan Masood. I'm Manager Technical and Corporate Sales from Happy Lac Paints. Basically, थोड़ा सा introduction आपको Happy Lac Paints के हवाले से हम देते चलें. Happy Lac Paints. Happy Lac Paints was established back in 1978, and our plant is located in Faisalabad, and we have a complete range of the products that a paint company must have. Starting from the architectural coatings, paints, and then road safety products, construction chemicals. अगर हम अपने products के हवाले से थोड़ा सा introduction आपको हम देते चलें, हमारे पास जो Happy Lac Paints के umbrella के अंदर जो चीज़ें हैं उसमें है कि wipeout हमारी basically products हैं जो कि हम stain resistant product कहते हैं, जिसको हम के कोई सी भी तरह के कोई जो है वो दाग कैचअप्स के बाकी कोई भी तरह के दाग जो होते हैं उससे आपको उनको क्लीन कर सकते हैं विदिन 48 आवर्स. एंड देन इंटीरियर्स के लिए हमारे पास जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं दैट्स वेदर गार्ड, और फिर इंटीरियर्स के हवाले से प्लास्टिक इमल्शंस के नाम से हमारी प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, सेमी प्लास्टिक इमल्शंस हैं, और देन उसके बाद प्राइमर्स, एंसिलरीज, और उसकी एक कंप्लीट रेंज हमारे पास प्रोडक्ट की अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अवेलेबल है. उसके बाद हम रोड सेफ्टी के अंदर हम देखते हैं तो रोड सेफ्टी के हवाले से हमारे पास कंप्लीट उसकी रेंज अवेलेबल है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम थर्मोप्लास्टिक प्रोडक्ट्स, उसके बाद सीआर रोड मार्किंग पेंट्स जो कि आपकी रोड्स के ऊपर आपको जितने भी नजर आते हैं वो भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे पास एक कंप्लीट रेंज प्रोडक्ट्स की अवेलेबल है. देन इट गोज टू द स्पेशल कोटिंग के अंदर आजकल टेक्सचर का एक जो है वो ट्रेंड मार्केट के अंदर जो है हुआ है, तो वो भी कंप्लीट हमारे पास प्रोडक्ट्स की जो है वो अवेलेबल है. उसमें हमारे पास पर्ल स्किन हमारी एक प्रोडक्ट है, एंड देन इट्स टोकोटिकुआ, पर्ला, और प्रीमियम टेक्सचर फिनिश और मल्टी टाइल, और ये सारी प्रोडक्ट्स हमारे स्टॉल्स के ऊपर जो है ऑलरेडी डिस्प्लेड हैं. एंड आई वेलकम यू ऑल कि आप हमारे स्टॉल को विजिट करें, और इंशाल्लाह सारी की सारी प्रोडक्ट्स की जो है फिजिकली एक फील आपको इंशाल्लाह वहाँ पे देखने को मिलेगी इंशाल्लाह. डिस्पेंसिंग टेक्नोलॉजी आपको रेडी टू यूज हम शॉप्स कीपर्स के ऊपर, और बाकी भी जो टेक्नोलॉजी वो सारी की सारी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे पास अवेलेबल है. इंडस्ट्रियल कोटिंग के मतलब अगर बात की जाए दैट कम्स इन प्रोटेक्टिव कोटिंग सेगमेंट, जिसके अंदर बॉयलर पेंट्स हैं, उसके अंदर हीट रेजिस्टेंट पेंट्स हैं, और इपॉक्सी पेंट्स के हवाले से फ्लोरिंग्स हैं, और पॉलीयूरेथेन कोटिंग्स हैं हमारे पास. तो ये प्रोटेक्टिव कोटिंग्स के हवाले से कंप्लीट रेंज हमारे पास अवेलेबल है. बॉक्सेस में अगर हम थोड़ा सा इलेबोरेट करते हैं तो बॉक्सेस के हमारे पास रेड ऑक्साइड प्राइमर्स भी बॉक्सेस में अवेलेबल हैं, जिंक प्राइमर्स हैं, जिंक फॉस्फेट प्राइमर्स भी हैं, और उसके बाद पॉलीयूरेथेन प्राइमर्स भी हैं, और क्लियर कोट भी बॉक्सेस के अंदर अवेलेबल हैं. फिर इपॉक्सी ग्राउट अभी आजकल जो मार्केट के अंदर एक नया ट्रेंड इपॉक्सी ग्राउट का जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा चला है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. इपॉक्सी ग्राउट के हवाले से भी हमारे पास एक कंप्लीट रेंज अवेलेबल है विदिन 20 to 25 शेड्स के अंदर हमारे पास अवेलेबल है, जो कि कन्वेंशनल ग्राउट से काफ़ी ज़्यादा उसकी स्ट्रेंथ है, जो बॉन्डिंग है वो बहुत ज़्यादा बेहतर होती है उनसे. पॉलीयूरेथेन भी हमारी जो प्रोडक्ट जो कि एक्सटीरियर के अंदर होती हैं, बेसिकली जो इपॉक्सीज हमारी फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स होती हैं आप उनको एक्सटीरियर के अंदर यूज़ नहीं करते हम लोग. तो एक्सटीरियर के लिए जो कि अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज को बेटर जो है तरीके के साथ जो फाइट करता है वो पॉलीयूरेथेन प्रोडक्ट्स होती हैं. तो पॉलीयूरेथेन की जितनी भी रेंज प्रोडक्ट्स उसके अंदर फ्लोरिंग की हों, मेटल कोटिंग्स की हों, और उसके बाद जितने भी उसके अंदर फ्लोरिंग्स, मेटल कोटिंग्स और कन्वेंशनल नॉन कन्वेंशनल सारी उसके पास हमारे पास अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह चीज़ें अवेलेबल उसके अंदर है. देन इट कम्स टू द वुड फिनिश वुड प्रोडक्ट्स के हवाले से वुड सीलर्स हैं, वुड लैकर्स हैं, लैकर्स के अंदर ग्लॉस है, देन मैट है, और वुड थिनर्स भी हैं जो कि आपकी पॉलिश की प्रोडक्ट्स जितनी भी हैं उनके अंदर ये प्रोडक्ट्स यूज़ होती हैं. तो वो भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे पास सारी एक प्रोडक्ट रेंज कंप्लीट मौजूद है. एंड सीलर्स के अंदर जितनी भी हमारी पेंट से पहले जो भी प्रोडक्ट्स सारी की सारी फिनिश होती हैं वो भी हमारे पास अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अवेलेबल हैं. इसके अंदर डिफरेंट किस्म की पट्टीज होती हैं, फिलिंग्स होती हैं, प्राइमर्स होते हैं, और फिर एक्सटीरियर के और इंटीरियर के दोनों तरह की चीज़ें के अवेलेबल होते हैं। थिनर्स होते हैं, एनसी थिनर्स हैं, सिंथेटिक वार्निशेस हैं। और रोड मार्किंग के हवाले से अगर देखा जाए तो रोड मार्किंग में हमारे पास दो तरह की प्रोडक्ट्स उसके अंदर आती हैं, जो कि एक एक्वस रोड मार्किंग है, जो कि वाटर बेस्ड रोड मार्किंग स्पेशली यूज़ होती है रनवेज के ऊपर और एयरपोर्ट्स पे। इसके बाद ये भी अलहमदिल्ला हमारे पास इसके अंदर डिफरेंट जो शेड्स जो कि रिक्वायरमेंट होती हैं वो भी अवेलेबल है। और दैन रोड मार्किंग के अंदर थर्मोप्लास्टिक भी आती है, जो कि एक हॉट मेल्टेड एक प्रोडक्ट है, जो कि पाउडर फॉर्म में अवेलेबल होती है। दैन वी मेल्ट इट बॉयलर्स के अंदर 200 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे जाके ये प्रोडक्ट मेल्ट होता है, फिर उसको आपको लेइंग उसकी की जाती है, मार्किंग की जाती है रोड्स के ऊपर, एसफाल्ट के रोड्स के ऊपर। कंस्ट्रक्शन केमिकल्स की अगर हम देखते हैं तो कंस्ट्रक्शन केमिकल्स की हमारी पूरी अलहमदिल्ला एक अलग से डिवीजन है। उसके अंदर हमारे पास हाई ग्राउट 100 है, हाई ग्राउट 200 है। हाई ग्राउट 100 बेसिकली जो है वो सिंगल कंपोनेंट ग्राउट है, और हाई ग्राउट 200 जो है दैट इज अ 2 कंपोनेंट ग्राउट। हाई बॉन्ड C50 कंसंट्रेट हमारे पास वेदर सेम है, हाई सील है WP4, हाई वाटर प्रूफिंग हमारे पास WP4 है, हाई एक्वा सील WR66, ये भी प्रोडक्ट्स हमारे पास सारी उसके अंदर अवेलेबल है। और अगर डिफरेंट हम प्रोजेक्ट्स के हवाले से बात करें तो हैप्पी लैक पेंट्स बेसिकली जो है हम इस चीज़ को फोकस कर रहे हैं कि हम अपने जो भी क्लाइंट्स हैं, जो भी हमारे इतने भी आप लोग हमें जहाँ पे भी सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तो एक आपको काम के हवाले से ईज़ हो कि हम टन की प्रोजेक्ट्स कर रहे हैं। इसके अंदर हमारे पास एक एक्सपर्ट टीम अवेलेबल होती है, जो कि हम अपनी प्रोडक्ट को खुद ही ऑन करके उसको हम अप्लाई करते हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। तो इसके हवाले से कि जितने भी काफ़ी सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह किए हैं सिंध के अंदर, पंजाब के अंदर, अक्रॉस द कंट्री सारे हमने डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स जो कि टन की प्रोजेक्ट्स कंप्लीट किए हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। यस सर। सॉरी आवाज़ आपको नहीं आ रही। माइक आउट। एक्सटीरियर वुड के लिए जी सर, बिल्कुल। उसमें सर हमारे पास जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उन्हीं को हम इस तरह से हमने मॉडिफाई किया हुआ, हम उसको यूज़ कर सकते हैं। लाइक अगर आपने एक्सटीरियर के अंदर कहीं पे जा रहे हैं तो वुड पॉलिश के साथ हम जो लेकर वहाँ पे यूज़ करते हैं दैट इज़ अ पीजू बेस्ड लेकर। पीजू इज़ बेसिकली जो है आपकी यूवी रेज को रेजिस्ट करता है। तो उसके ऊपर अगर हम पीजू का लेकर अप्लाई करेंगे तो आपकी प्रोडक्ट की जो नीचे उसकी प्रोडक्ट अप्लाई होती है वो भी उसकी प्रिजर्व रहेगी और आपकी वुड भी प्रिजर्व रहेगी। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Happy Lak. Next, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, Dr. Yasmin Lari.
Her journey from international modernism from elite to zero carbon architecture for the masses was rewarded in 2023 with RIBA's Royal Gold Medal in Architecture, the second woman to receive it since 1848. Her other awards include Sitara and Hilal Imtiaz, Fukuoka Prize from Japan, and Jane Drew Prize from UK, a graduate of Oxford Brookes University. She began her practice in 1964. In 1980, she co-founded Heritage Foundation of Pakistan with her husband, noted historian Sohail Zahir Lari, to safeguard Pakistan's heritage. She has devised Barefoot Social Architecture, BASA, in order to provide social and ecological justice to marginalized sections. She has honorary degrees from Politecnico di Milano and Oxford Brookes University, was visiting professor for sustainable design 2022 to 2023, and is an honorary fellow of Jesus College at the University of Cambridge.
We would be honored for Ma'am Lari to come and share her talk with us titled, Are We Ready for the 3Ds? Decarbonize, Decolonize, and Democratize Architecture. Ma'am Lari will be joining us. Please give her a round of applause.
Huge round of applause. Ma'am Lari is joining us in a few minutes. Just be a little patient. Just be patient, there is some issue in sound. We're not able to hear Ms. Yasmin. She'll be joining us in a minute. I hope everyone's having a very informative session. Hello. Can you hear us? Ma'am Lari, can you hear us? I think she's on the phone. No, she's not. Hello, welcome to the... Ma'am, we cannot hear you. Yeah. We're sorting out the audio. Just give us a sec.
We seem to be having some technical difficulties, so we will start with our next speaker for the evening and come back to Ma'am Lari's lecture at a later time. So now I would like to introduce you the first speaker of the evening, architect Shazia Qureshi. Architect Shazia Qureshi serves as the principal architect and managing partner at Sohail A. Khan Associates in Rawalpindi. With a distinguished career, she holds key positions as Secretary General of the Society of Asian Civilization of Pakistan and Trustee of Europe. Her accolades include the Prime Minister Award for the APS Peshawar Auditorium Design and Arcasia Award nomination in 2020. Graduating from the University of Engineering and Technology, Lahore in 1994, architect Shazia is committed to promoting socially responsive, sustainable, and responsible architecture. She believes architecture goes beyond immediate users to inspire passerby and enhance their well-being. Sustainability to her is achieved through responsible design, addressing challenges like efficiency, flexibility. However, she acknowledges that sustainability in South Asian countries is still evolving and requires concerted efforts in training, awareness, and affordable materials. As she investigates the future of architecture, architect Shazia emphasizes the importance of honing existing tools for sustainable practices.
Now we would like to call upon architect Shazia Qureshi to come on stage, and her topic for the talk is Architect Journey Towards Sustainable and Responsible Architecture. Please give her a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you IAP for giving me this opportunity. So I would like to explain here my beliefs that sustainability can only be achieved through responsibility in actions, and responsibility in decisions at every thought process and at every realm of our life cycles. Next. Okay, thank you. It's working now. So before I go through my presentation, I would like to start with few voices of wisdom which inspired me to go through the journey of sustainability. Joshan Zai says sustainability is no longer about doing less harm, it's about doing more good. Deb Haaland says we must shift our thinking away from short-term gain towards long-term investment in sustainability and always have the next generations in mind with every decision we make. Anand Mahindra says sustainability has to be a way of life, to be a way of business. And I say that every responsible act is sustainable. Planning for future is an attitude and not a part-time acquired policy. Thank you. Humanity has passed through a long history of one-sidedness and of a social condition that has always contained the potential of destruction. Despite its creative achievements in technology, the great project of our time must be to open the other eye, to see all-sidedly and wholly, to heal and transcend the cleavage between humanity and nature that came with early wisdom. Mare Bokchen. Since we are trying to co-live with nature, we must and have to follow the universal law of coexistence. Every human habitation has to follow certain rules and balances to survive and equate within the natural ecosystem. Universe has bounties as well as elements which, if disrupted, can negate every possibility of human existence. The pillars on which the sustenance is standing are economic viability, environmental protection, and social equity. Other dimensions could be technical feasibility, political legitimacy, and institutional capacity. To be sustainable, it has to be bearable, equitable, and viable. This paper is an insight to see future as a living present. The needs and requirements today shall ultimately mold the tomorrow. For digital generation, the physical form might be twisted and electric, but the spatial and sustainable goals shall remain the same. We know that the ultimate architectural plan so far has been an illusion. Designers are realizing the fact that the future has no final stasis in store for mankind and that people will have to learn to ride the waves of uncertainty. Everything, including ideas about buildings, will always be changing, except the humanitarian needs, which will always remain the same. Replenish, rehab, revitalize, reform, renew, reuse. They generate a question. How much is needed and is sufficient to co-live? We unfortunately are living in the dilemma of more is good. However, nature tells us that less is more. Impact of infrastructure on environment is huge. Natural disasters and the effects of climate change are impacting our cities and communities. Buildings construction and maintenance cycles are partially to blame for these crises. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, buildings generate almost 39% of carbon dioxide gas emissions, making them a chief contributor to global warming and resultant climatological shifts. So it says that we have to look a lot in depth to know that what sustainability is and how we can achieve in our country specifically. From building bylaws, design, construction, maintenance, renovation, and demolition, all areas of this industry demand sustainable behavior to have a minimal impact on the environment, such as optimize site potential and land zoning specifically, optimize energy use, optimize building space and material, enhance indoor environmental quality. Rising to meet the demands of our constantly changing physical and social environment is a shared responsibility. It's not the responsibility of one authority, of only the government. It's the responsibility of everyone to see and feel whatever they can do about living coexistently with the nature. It's not going down. In South Asian countries, specifically in Pakistan, we are still afraid in adopting the alternative methods of construction, even though we are directly facing the consequences of climate change. We are in the eye of climate change right now. What's happening in Gwadar, what has happened last year in floods, we are in the eye of climate change. Need is to train user psychology through codes of construction, bylaws, mass awareness programs on national level, and by making material choices affordable for common users. Before we can contemplate the practices of the future, we must sharpen the tools we have at hand. I would like to give a few suggestions regarding the codes and practices we follow in land zoning, town planning, building construction, and the policy making of this industry. Because until unless we look at it on a holistic level, we cannot really embark on the journey of sustainability. Zoning. Land zoning has to be more in line with climatic behavior of a particular region to allow buildings getting maximum advantage of solar path and wind patterns, because it takes a higher energy bill to lit up and heat colder building, not in sync with solar orientation. We see lots many plots, we work on lots many plots which do not get sunlight at any time of day during any time of the season. So it gets very difficult to lit up that house or the building, and it gets extremely difficult, more difficult to heat and cool that house and to give a solar orientation life cycle to that house or the building, just because that plot is not facing any cardinal orientations. Increase of 10 mud or less footprint residential plots in urban areas and higher in peri-urban areas. Every township must have microforests and grow own vegetable patches for an increased green cover and food security. Town planning bylaws to include perforated pathways to balance out subsoil water level and reduce load on rainwater drains, which will improve the risk of urban flooding. Rainwater harvesting should be introduced on massive scale. All commercial digital presence and road lights to be lit by solar energy. Vegetable and fruit growing in patches will increase food security Pakistan is facing through insecurity due to lack of distribution and lots of wastages. Energy production while walking and traveling on road, patches of pathways and bicycle tracks with panels to produce electricity will promote healthy activity and generate energy. We have to introduce policies for people to live happily, healthily, and at the same time contributing in the overall sustainable practices. Alternate materials for road construction should also be explored rather than this tarmac road, which is producing more heat than giving comfort to the road users. Building bylaws. Every new construction must plant 5 trees in around the vicinity. This should be included in the bylaw of every approving authority. Restriction of energy consumption per unit on grid to promote the use of alternate energy installations. Amount of water usage during construction to be reduced. We waste a lot of water during construction. All internal walls to be built dry or low consumption materials. Effective insulation techniques to be employed in construction. Completion certificates to be linked with energy bills and a constant watch to be maintained. This is a must. We just give them a free hand to use as much electricity or gas or resources which government provides freely. Policies which government has to undertake and should think about it seriously. Small units to be provided free energy to promote users to reduce their bills to avail this facility. Traffic engineering and road planning to be re-evaluated to reduce new road construction and instead initiate timings for low weight and high weight traffic movement. Just like in Europe, roads are specifically marked for cars and heavy weight traffic. Promotion of alternate materials through making them available at a massive scale, and recycling should be made mandatory for every manufactured product. This should be made mandatory so that we can, until unless we develop laws and policies for mass scale usage, we cannot achieve sustainability in our country. Doing efforts on a smaller scale or individual basis is not now a criteria. The criteria is to is to be more holistic and to be practicing this on a mass level. Because future architecture has to become kinetic and sensitive to interact not only with the environment but also with human emotions. It may be termed as architecture of the systems, namely disaster relief, refugee rehabilitation, sustainable living, nature harmony, mobile and modular, prefabricated, vertical and green, personal and communal, adaptive reuse, shared spaces and buildings, recycle and regeneration. Systems thinking sums up the new attitude we require, and it will have a huge impact on future planning and architecture through subtler and deeper changes that will alter people's relationship to buildings, infrastructure, technology, and resources. Role of architect will also intensify from single to a diverse definition with specialized fields of practice. The efficiency of buildings' functionality needs to increase drastically. It is the human challenge of all times. Do more with less, and it needs to be redefined over and over again. In some cases, this may lead to flexibility and even throwaway buildings or maybe even degradable cities. In others, the message is durability. The common factor is sustainability achieved by tuning quality to the foreseeable future. So whatever is projected and built should allow either for easy modification or for a change of program that implies minimal material adaptation. Transitioning to a net zero world is one of the greatest challenges humankind has faced. It calls for nothing less than a complete transformation of how we produce, consume, and move about. Change our behaviors, our thinking, our mode of living, and planning for living, cutting down on demands. A paradigm shift in social and economic policy. Only then we can start a chain reaction. It does not mean that we have to start living in caves or mud houses. What it actually means is that a balancing act is required to replenish every resource that is utilized. I will go all of you through some of the case studies in which I have also been a part of, which is called skip construction. And we have done adaptable reuse, retrofit, renew, recycle, lightweight, alternate material, and shared buildings through this technology. Skip is a structural concrete insulated panel. Isko aap full screen pe kar denge? Sorry, because the slides are like, thank you. Structural concrete insulated panels have been in practice since 1960 but adopted in Pakistan quite recently. Now what is a skip? A skip is composed of an insulated core made of expanded polystyrene foam flanked on both sides by galvanized steel wire mesh with the two sides of mesh held together using diagonal steel shear connectors. A layer of short concrete is applied on each side of the panel to provide structural strength. Skip buildings are more energy efficient, stronger, quieter, lightweight, and more airtight than older technologies. Less air leakage means less drafts, fewer noise penetrations, and significantly lower energy bills. Thus, a reduction in CO2 emissions. It's a disaster-resilient material and can tolerate up to 8 Richter scale earthquake. Savings in time, labor, revenue, overheads, energy needs, water consumption during construction enhances its sustainability factor. Benefits I have already gone through, and construction speed, thermal insulation, sound insulation, structural strength, mold mildew resistance, pest resistance, less cement, and economics. There are certain graphs. The U value achieved through this construction is 0.41, which is quite sustainable for the energy usage. And these are some other graphs for the structural stability, sound transmission, weight, and the build. It is an extremely light material and can be transported very easily from one place to another. 10,000 kilowatt hour less energy consumption in comparison to conventional building systems. So this is a very efficient building construction material. And this is a project which I have been working on since past many months, and I've been very busy on this, and Mehreen was upset with me that I am unable to give time to the forum, but that is why I was involved in this project. A classic study of adaptive reuse, recycle, alternate materials, construction, and shared buildings. An 1870 warehouse was restored, retrofitted, renovated and reused as a corporate office building with 120 feet by 200 feet of column-free span, which gave a flexibility of space design like none other. And the total construction time is just 4.25 months from the start to the scratch. And it was designed on 80 PSF structural load capacity. Normally buildings are designed at 70 PSF, 60 PSF structural load capacity. And this is, the client is Nestep Lahore, and this project is called Arena. This is how it was when we started to rehabilitate it. These are the pictures of the truss of the warehouse, which is spanning a huge hall. And these are some other pictures. Arena at Nestep during the construction, and you can see the floor of skip panels. These skip panels can be used in the walls, on the floors, on the roofs, and you just have to shotcrete them and they are ready. And this is, this is how it is during the construction, and we converted that huge span into an arena, an open air auditorium for the shared office users. So this is how it is now. This is the reception lobby of that building. Now another building in the same complex is Forum. It was built 65,000 square feet, and it just took four months to erect this building from the scratch to the finishing. And all metal construction, a raft underneath, and all metal construction with the skip panels. These are different pictures of the building during construction stage, and you can see the slabs of the skip panels, the walls, and the interiors. And this is the Forum right now. So this is actually how you can use the alternate materials to create really a difference in the construction practices. And in corporate interiors, we are trying to be sustainable by using natural stones, jute as fabric insulation, wood, plywood lights, and terrazzo flooring. These lights, which you can see on the reception, they are all made of lightweight plywood. And we have used terrazzo on the floor of this office. This is Anglo Corporation office, and jute as the insulation material, as you can see in the interiors. And this has been so liked by the user that they say that the harbor front, the sea view front office, they don't like that office, and they are much comfortable in this office, which is right in the city center with no views around. So just a little last slide and last insight from me towards the sustainability, the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. What exists in the invisible exists in the visible. What you feel and believe inside will manifest on the outside. If you want to change what's outside of yourself, turn your focus inwards. Remember, we are all connected. Focusing on what is for your greatest good will bring good to the universe and those around you. Bringing good to those around you will bring good back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Shazia. Now we would like to call upon Ma'am Yasmin Lari. Her audio is sorted. Once again, I would like to welcome Ms. Yasmin and share her topic for the talk. Are we ready for the 3Ds decarbonize, decolonize, and democratize architecture? Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much, beta. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me now? आप लोगों को आवाज आ रही है कि नहीं?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. You're audible to everyone.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So, greetings from Karachi, and thank you, Shazia, for an excellent paper and very good examples. And for me, it's such a pleasure to be among a gathering of eminent, and I hope budding architects are here too, organized by IEP Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter. In this year's forum, dynamic chairman Abdullah Khan and always dependable Fuad Abbasi and of course Farhan Siddiqui and their teams have brought the urgent topic of sustainability center stage. Just last July, the UIA Congress where I had the privilege of presenting a keynote as they had taken up the SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals as their theme. I believe the first time that UIA, gathering of architects from around the world, discussed how to integrate SDGs in their architectural creations. And that was a good sight to see how many architects actually were becoming so conscious of this. So I'm glad just to see this focus by architectural institutions on a theme that is so relevant to built environment professionals, particularly for us in Pakistan, since we are the fifth most vulnerable country and are confronted with a major disaster on a recurring basis. Now, let me see if I can just share my screen because that might help us to, sort of for me to illustrate. I don't know whether, is that the way to do it? Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am. We are able to see your screen. You may proceed.
Okay, let me try to see if I can maximize it. I'm just trying to see if I can just get it out there. See if we can maximize. So, because I just thought that we would discuss, the different issues that I feel are important, and I would like to bring to notice of, all the audience here. So, in my manifesto some years ago in the Design magazine, I mentioned that today we live in an era that is beset with fragmentation and disruptions. It is a world ravaged by rising poverty levels and increasing disparities, depletion of the Earth's resources and climate change impact, global warming, greenhouse gas emissions, recurring disasters, climate emergencies, and climate migrants, and conflict-impelled refugees, as we see in Gaza even as we speak today. The displaced and the homeless all require innovative design solutions. Now, to achieve sustainable living, architects need to respond to a host of environmental challenges. Spatial and environmental improvements of marginalized communities and informal settlements, innovative solutions for emergency and permanent housing for the displaced, and post-disaster humanitarian assistance, as well as segments of ecological urban design, just to name a few. There's much that can be done by architects, and we need to be out there. Now, at this juncture, it is worthwhile to remember the Brundtland Commission report, which declared the most potent definition of sustainable development and reinforces a post-industrial and decolonized imperative of integrating environmental concerns within economic development. The definition, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs, remains as relevant today as it was in 1987 when it was issued. As we know that there have been several conferences of parties or COPs, the most recent being COP28, where the emphasis has been to reconfirm that the world needs to limit temperature rise to below 1.5 degrees centigrade, a figure that will only be possible if we all help to substantially reduce greenhouse gas emissions all around the world. While we need to blame the global north for excessive consumption and extraction of planet's valuable resources, countries in the global south, such as Pakistan, also continue to contribute to the worsening environmental conditions. Remember the high carbon construction after 2005 earthquake in the north, when 400,000 housing units were built using concrete blocks and steel girders? It took only a couple of years when in 2010, the neighboring glaciers melted that resulted in massive floods that brought devastation in all our provinces. Can we as architects justify the action of designing reinforced concrete iconic structures, a state-of-the-art building that we're proud of it, so many of us, in the post-2005 earthquake that replaced the wonderful natural zero-carbon vernacular construction that has snuggled so well into the breathtaking mountain scenery? It was just amazing. But it all was destroyed. So surely these figures that I brought for you in the slide are disturbing for all built environment professionals, since it is our profession worldwide that is still not looking at solutions which would provide a sustainable future. When we continue to rely on highly polluting cement, steel, and other industrialized materials, these UNEP figures show a big chunk of the irretrievable damage being caused to the environment that is a result of excessive extraction of the planet's resources. So, what is the role of architects in a changing world? Should architects continue to be an instrument in the hands of the privileged, demanding extravagant architectural expressions? Must we continue to create megastructures and iconic edifices for elite clients, rich property owners, and corporate sector? Should we worry about the harm to the planet when 40% of the emissions are known to be due to present construction methods? I just want to bring this just to remind you of the 17 goals that would be good if you were to strive towards them. And some might be aware that for several past years, ever since I gave up my architecture practice in the year 2000, I began to pursue a divergent path. And I thought I could no longer consider myself an architect. I decided to forego my iconic extravagances in order to pursue decolonized and democratic architectural norms. Today, I feel compelled to find architectural solutions that provide both social and ecological justice. I do not believe we have to sacrifice the search for justice of one kind at the cost of the other. Knowing that 50% of our population lives below the poverty line, For me, the basis of all development must be good design that incorporates use of sustainable materials and climate resilience for the poorest. Fortuitously, more than at any other time, young architects, as citizens of the changing world, are seeking a divergent course in the practice of architecture. By bestowing the great honor of the Royal Gold Medal on my work in a brave move, the Royal Institute of British Architects, the Prize Committee, and the British monarch have legitimized the path for the architects to serve those who live on the borders. They have sent a powerful message that architects do not any longer need to be just to vie for the attention of the privileged and the wealthy, but equally be ready to serve humanity. Also, my slogan of zero carbon, zero waste that President RIB Simon Alford referred to it. It aligns with principles of circular economy, to Architect Shadi also referred to it, to foster sustainable solutions. The Royal Medal vindicated my efforts at decolonizing methodologies to engage communities and democratizing implementation processes to ensure discussion and consensus. In all my efforts, the decarbonization of the environment of sustainable material. It's not the time for architects and other built environment professionals, is it not so, to begin healing the planet by lowering the carbon footprint in all that we create and thus achieve net zero sustainable development goals by 2050 that most countries are committed to? And so I feel there are different approaches that are needed, for instance, for now devising new bylaws. Design is the most important factor in this attempt. There is an urgent need to replace cement, concrete, and steel, failing which I suggest we opt for hybrid structures, perhaps a high carbon frame with zero carbon infill and finishes. It also means changing building and planning bylaws and more research on alternative materials. Different approaches are needed for different kinds of development, for different ways of construction that are going on. There's urban formal development, urban self-sponsored housing, and separately for urban informal settlements and rural development. These could range from a mix of high and low carbon buildings incorporating mitigating techniques, low carbon double-story engineered buildings to zero carbon non-engineered structures. And then strategy to achieve net zero. There could be several strategies that we could begin to employ in the design of our buildings. First, design structures based on passive design, utilize siting and orientation, as we know, to minimize solar gain or maybe oriented to have more heat, incorporating zero energy, natural ventilation, thermal mass, and passive solar design. Daylight harvesting, providing shading and sun protection, utilizing trees for shading and cooling. And then use of alternative energy, minimizing fossil fuel energy. Then improve insulation in addition to thermal mass, utilizing, as much as possible materials and sealing to prevent entry and exit of cold or hot air. And then water and energy efficiency, or appliances of that kind, water conserving sanitary installations and energy efficient electrical appliances. So, what are the design principles that you might be thinking of? I wanted to suggest several design principles. First of all, advantage of nature for health and well-being, which is the most important factor. Passive solar and passive ventilation design, site and orientation benefits, maximizing daylight and air, traditional natural devices for cooling and warming, shading devices, water optimization, conservation, biophilia and greening, green roofs and water. There's so many things that we could do. And then climate resilience and circularity, planet's health, reduce carbon and greenhouse gas emissions, sustainable, renewable, recycled and non-toxic green materials, local sourcing for reduce embodied energy, reducing water, reducing waste and water consumption, and retrofitting and repurposing old buildings instead of building new ones, preventing, as in fact Shazia has shown, preventing new construction to mitigate human and environmental impact. Then there's reduced operating costs that we must now strive for. Rainwater harvesting, residential and public building, water conservation, plumbing, reduce fossil and increase alternative energy, increase grey water usage, and then eco-urbanism principles, curtail vehicular movement, increase pedestrian and urban spaces, combination of street forests and plenty aquifers to help in further greening and clean air. There's quite a few things that really, if you think about, can probably be implemented quite easily. And of course, there's an orientation advantage. I still remember the time when, as an architect, it felt mandatory to incorporate an orientation diagram as a reminder to work out ways to take advantage of the movement of the sun and direction of breeze to ensure comfortable living conditions, thus developing passive design so it relies on mechanical systems and use of energy is curtailed that results in reduced operational costs as well. And then, because there are so many lessons that I have learned from studying tangible, intangible, and vernacular heritage of the country, I thought I must share that with you. These instances of tangible heritage have helped me to develop sustainable lifestyles, and the intangible heritage of craft and ingenuity, where women are the main custodians, who have become co-creators of my designs. I've learned to use my architecture to provide dignity and agency to women who otherwise have no choice or no voice. And it is our vernacular heritage from where I've learned the use of sustainable materials, local sourcing, ease of handling, economic use, and one that is based on age-old wisdom. For me, the past has always been alive and has provided me with directions to devise innovative ways to deal with today's climate emergency. So, as you can see, there are many principles that are based on natural devices drawn from traditional environments. On the left is the title of a book on documentation we carried out in 1979 when I wrote about the historic town of Tata with its distinctive wind catchers and beautiful line-stabilized plaster walls. The sketch of a wind scoop shows how prevailing wind is drawn inside the house, providing natural cooling for the house. And then many of you might recognize the wonderfully decorated 19th century mansion in Peshawar's walled city, which I had the privilege to conserve. The courtyard configuration creates its own microclimate within buildings without relying on any mechanical means. At night, cool air stored in the atrium keeps the surrounding rooms cool. So, and then in the early 2000s, on behalf of UNESCO, I had the opportunity to co-author the master plan for World Heritage Lahore Fort, where water fountains in integrated atriums cool the surrounding structures. And then, of course, the amazing Shalimar Gardens in 17th century Mughal Lahore, designed as you know, reflection of paradise on earth, which showed the use of an expanse of water and small fountains for natural cooling. It is from methodologies such as these from which I understood the value of ancient wisdoms and traditional techniques for providing buildings of great comfort, utilizing minimal energy. A major component of traditional buildings is passive design, which for me means reliance on thermal mass and use of renewable materials, such as earth, carbon-neutral bamboo, and carbon-absorbing lime, as well as other alternative low-carbon building materials. So I thought I'd share with you my two gurus who showed the direction decades or centuries ago, but which are relevant today more than ever before. There's the great Hazrat Fateh, the Earth Guru, author of Architecture for the Poor, who taught me the value of engaging communities and to enable them to unleash their creative abilities. And of course, there's the Roman Marcus Vitruvius, from whom I learned the use of lime as well as the importance of air, water, earth, and fire. Four elements that alchemy of which leads us to democratic norms. And then I would like to introduce the three materials that I have used in my humanitarian architecture to achieve sustainable, carbon-neutral, climate-resilient structures. In this slide, you can see the attributes of such materials. Earth. A combination of unfired clay-rich earth and straw provides passive environmental control, buffers relative humidity, creates non-toxic, healthy internal environment. Its waste becomes a resource, and it minimizes stress on heating or cooling systems. It is a miracle material with zero embodied energy and zero eco-footprint. And then, then you see lime, which, it's low energy. Through the alchemy of fire, transforms a lump of stone into an unparalleled force that has provided strength to Bronze Age Egyptian pyramids, the 1st century BC Roman aqueducts, and the impregnable 15th century Timurid forts. It also provides humidity buffering and a healthy indoor climate. And once the common earth and lime are mixed together, water provides a strength that cannot be surpassed by any other material, and at least by Portland cement. I'm a great proponent for lime, and I think all of us think very seriously about how lime should be now really integrated in everything that we do. And then the third material, bamboo, that environmentalists love, is the largest renewable resource, which due to its resilience and ease of use is the mainstay of my non-engineered seismic and flood-resistant structures. Technically classified as grass, it yields a new crop every 2 years. You don't have to cut trees anymore. You don't have to use wood anymore. While I've used these to achieve affordable, low-cost structures, these could be used in even more elaborate structures for the wealthy. Since I don't work for the wealthy, I don't design elaborate structures anymore. For example, earth, lime bricks for structural masonry and as infill, lime as an alternative with plaster and flooring, and bamboo, which I've seen used in old houses built in 400 years old Kumamoto in Japan, could be easily used as internal partitioning and also for two-story urban houses until more experimentation and testing have been done for more challenging usage. Now, I just thought I'd share some of them with you. This is a double-story structure for a schoolroom. Technique and form have been borrowed from traditional construction that you see on the left-hand side. Thermal mass in the walls and dried to lime earth bricks, sustainable with comfortable indoor microclimate because of the insulation that earth walls provide. The conical thatch roof provides movement of air and also cools the interior. And then here is I thought I'd share this with you. This is 40,000 these shelters were built, and we managed to get Pakistan as the largest zero carbon footprint shelter program in the world, when 300,000 persons were housed. And interestingly, this project taught me the valuable lesson that in the humanitarian field, we can only achieve such results when funding it at the lowest. And that's what I do now. I have found a way by which I really can do even without any funding. This is what happens then. Some of the earth masonry structures, how they are co-built and decorated by housewives. Suddenly a sense of pride emerges. And then there's a famous Pakistan chula, where 300,000 of these have been self-built by women. And of course, it's got a World Habitat Prize. It's very well known now. And then I just thought I'd show you this. Fiji houses, the bamboo houses, which again, the technique is one from the Digi construction of the north. And my innovation is to replace the original wood with bamboo. The cross-bracing has since been tested in thousands of structures, and it survived very well. And then here is a log, the bamboo prefab structure. Very quickly, I'll just show you a little animation as to how it's put together. Now, it's a modular structure and provides multiple possibilities. So it's bamboo panel and roof for structural members. The filling could vary depending upon materials available locally. As you see, the same prefab panels provide multiple possibilities. I would like to run through some of the variations to show how versatile such structures are, at the same time fulfilling the principles of circularity along with water conservation. So if we go further, you can see the one was built in Bangladesh, the same structure and the one that was put up in King Charles Estate and stayed there for several months. So it has the structure itself has multiple uses. And then I thought I'd show you this one as well that was done. And when Fozia Asad Khan was the chairperson, and they built this two-room house. The architects are the ones of IUP Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter were the ones who actually built this. So and then I thought very quickly just to show you the same structure, how it's used. Thousands of these have been built now since the flood, and you know they put up very very quickly, and they're customized in the sense that people can really have their own expressions on this. And so far 7,000 of these have been built, but along with that there are 40,000 masonry climate resistant structures also that have been built by the communities through guidance from us. And I just thought I'll just show you this particular one. It's a double-story structure, and it shows how it can resist any kind of onslaught of water. And we repeated it several times in many different places, and it's always worked extremely well. And then I just thought I'll show you another one, which is the Zero Carbon Cultural Center, where we have training facilities for our communities, and this also doubles up as a conference center, providing air movement and cooling here without any mechanical means. These are all structures that tread lightly on the planet and do not require energy-driven mechanisms for comfortable microclimate. And then I thought just very quickly, the lessons from Pakistan's walled city that we must learn, and Lahore, that big city that has so much to offer. And you can see what all we can learn, organic morphology, pedestrian, non-vehicle streets, low-rise, medium density, development, etc., etc. So there are lots of lessons that can be applied today as well. Now, such attributes can lead our cities towards climate resilience and enable us to help contain emissions to within specified limits. And being responsible for 65 to 70% of greenhouse gas emissions, our urban centers will remain global warming battlegrounds unless urban professionals devise ways to convert them into climate resilient cities. There are many of us that believe that traditional urbanism is equivalent to ecological urbanism. In order to transform our present wasteful urban centers into low-carbon eco-enclaves. So what do we need? Oops. We need compact cities, low-rise, medium-density, mixed-use development, vehicle-free, walkable, pollution-free enclaves, greenery, street forests, and water bodies for environmental cooling, low-impact, hybrid, high- and zero-carbon architecture seeking net-zero solutions. Now, we know that there is an urgent need to humanize our urban centers that are climate-resilient, ecologically driven, providing clean environment for the well-being of the people. I thought I should share with you the eco-enclave I have designed and implemented in Karachi, which has successfully dealt with issues of pollution, urban heat islands, and urban flooding. Now, this is a view of a street that I took up a couple of years ago to demonstrate how even an orphan city such as Karachi could be transformed through application of eco principles. So here we are, basically using zero cement and steel, restricting motorized vehicles for clean air, preventing demolition of historic and other buildings, converting streets, urban spaces for outdoor recreation, Miyawaki street forests absorbing carbon dioxide, cooling the air, and for wells to drain stormwater, porous pavements using permeable terracotta for rainwater absorption, biodiversity through greenery and plantation. And very quickly again, this is the street that has said no to cement, no to steel, yes to terracotta, yes to biodiversity, and yes to water conservation. And this is really the different elements that you can see in this. The area is entirely vehicle-free now. It's a pedestrian walkway with about 12 historic buildings on the two sides of it that are still surviving and not being cleaned up. And you can see that we have 4 Miyawaki dense forests and other places. So this has been working very well now for the last 2 years. And I just thought I'd show you very quickly. This just shows the walkways and the assembly court and food court and pushcart court and also aquifer wells where the water is absorbed. And so if you now see on before and after photographs, you can see the transformation that's possible. Again, before and after. The porous pavements on the right side, and you can see how it was before and what it has become now. And the forests have grown so well. Again, you see you have so much flooding, and now there's no flooding because all the water is absorbed into the various areas like the plantation, the aquifer wells, the porous pavements. There are all kinds of techniques we've used to make sure that there's no urban heat island and there's no urban flooding. And so you see the terracotta cobbles are amazing from that point of view. They're made by women that we trained, and now they're making them from Akli, and then it's right here. The sponge surface that you see on the left, the aquifer wells that take so much water into the aquifer, and of course we have our forests. And then these are the components as you can see. Rainwater, replenished aquifer wells, porous pavements, local plant species, that's forests, and free sea air movement is now possible in this area. And then again, very quickly, there are no vehicles, no fumes, so no pollution. Before and after photographs, and then there's 600 trees which have done amazing work for cleaning the environment, and then we have cleaning the sea breeze, and then we use this street now for all kinds of activities, and there's a whole training program going on about how do you build with bamboo. So now what we are basically the attempt is now to do urban decarbonization or greening of the city, and this is the proposal because of the example that I've set now. It's a sense of optimism has emerged. And this is a proposal that has been developed for the main artery of the city of Karachi. Because, basically our effort is to provide environmental justice, because everybody has a right to have a healthy environment. And foster nature-based solutions to provide carbon sequestering and clean air. At the minimum double the tree canopy cover, because so far, there's not enough trees, and minimize concrete to prevent greenhouse gas emissions. And it only works so well because when you have within the street, if you can bring your street forest, and then really make a difference. Then we have to conserve all the water, prevent all the storm water from going into the sea, and they're using it now to bring about really amazing thing, and curtail vehicular traffic movement. And actually now canopy cover has gone from 12% to 26.3%. And then I just thought very quickly show you this particular slide. This is the proposal. It's one of the slides at the beginning of the Clifton Road from Metropole onwards. And as I said, the tree cover alone will be increased from 12 to 26.3%. Now, each city in the country can be taken up to introduce sustainable, eco-driven elements. So in conclusion, in my view, sustainable approaches will become possible if institutions such as PKP and yourselves, IP, join hands to formulate green building and planning bylaws. In the interest of sustainability and climate change mitigation, should the architectural profession not spearhead a movement for change? I believe the time has come for us to do that. Now, this may require the following: agreement on imperatives and the need to foster humanistic development, formulation of different bylaws in different situations, redrafting building and planning bylaws for all provinces, including cantonment boards. Everybody must follow the same path. Bylaws to be accompanied by detailed graphics to provide guidance. People don't know really when we say, okay, orientation, well, what does it mean? So why can't we give lots of graphics to show what can be done? And I really would like very much a central research platform to provide guidance on alternative materials for lowering the carbon footprint. There's so much research going on in Pakistan as well as elsewhere. Why can't it be brought together where most architects can have access to what are the different and alternative materials that are available that are low carbon? And let's try to do that. So today I urge our young architects to fulfill my dream of using architectural design for bringing about social and ecological justice in the country, and drawing inspiration from Pakistan's cultural heritage, green vernacular traditions, and eco-driven walled cities. Should Pakistani architects not take the lead for devising a sustainable future based on lessons of the past? I thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Larry, for the incredibly illuminating and informative talk. Next, I would like to ask our sponsor, Interwood, to share their sponsor message. If Interwood can please come up.
For nearly half a century, Interwood has transformed countless homes, corporations, businesses, and institutions with its high-quality range of ready-made and customized furnishing and fit-out solutions. It all begins in our Technology and Innovation Center, where new trends, ideas, and designs are created by our team of experts.
We're doing a lot of technological advancements that are constantly happening, so we keep pace with what's happening in the world, and not just in terms of machinery or different types of skills that are involved, but also in terms of the materials and the hardware. So we have all of that coming in, and then we have the consumer who we want to satisfy. So at R&D, it's basically we take in all of that, convert it into a product which is aesthetically appealing to the customer, and then we're able to bring it to the forefront in the showroom and make it available for the consumer. Our technological advancements kept happening. So now from where we started to making, say, 5 beds, for example, in a batch size, say 20 odd years back, today it goes up to 500 bed sets that we're producing of the same design, and that is only possible with what we have.
Based in Lahore, Interwood's state-of-the-art 600,000 square foot manufacturing facility is a marvel of modern-day manufacturing. Complete with over 300 of Europe's most advanced machines and a skilled labor force capable of creating any type of furniture products. This facility also houses fully robotic technology, enabling unmatched accuracy, efficiency, and flexibility throughout every step in the manufacturing process.
This machine is, we've just preserved it to remind us that from where we started. It was a very humble start, and we had not much of machinery, it's about 10, 15 carpenters, and we were totally dependent upon the carpenters. And in any case, there was no room for increasing your production. We started investing in technology, and technology replaces all the skills. There is no substitute for hard. The Germans say that it's 99% hard work and 1% intelligence. That is what the definition of genius is in German. So you have to work hard. No shortcuts.
We have been growing in the last 5 years at a growth rate of 30 to 40%. So what we've done is that we invested into design softwares and ERP softwares, SAP, and then we have integrated both the softwares, the design and the ERP with the machine. And we foresee a huge amount of growth in the next 5 years. We've been working very hard on the human resource development side. And I think for any company, it is the key to success.
In addition to processing a variety of materials, the facility is specialized for maximum production flexibility, where through the use of automation, individual machines are capable of producing a variety of components for any type of product, be it a single customized item or an entire range of products, all under one roof, creating limitless manufacturing possibilities. While intelligent networking of machines, processes, and digitization enhances accuracy, capability, and efficiency at every step.
So we have stores all over the country. So we're covering the major cities across the country. So now we're doing fairly big stores, about 30,000 to 40,000 square feet. So we have 3 levels of products, 3 different type of products. One is, of course, the home furnishing. This is a different experience, a different customer base. Then it's more to do with the housing market and in making a house or renovating one in your kitchens and your closets and your doors come in. And then obviously the office space where we have the corporates and office users or new startups coming in. So it's a different mindset altogether. Not only we give these solutions for furnishing, we give solutions for interiors. This idea is right down from the catalog down to the actual store experience. So there are a lot of ideas that we throw. So we try to give that through our store experience, so the catalogs and strategies to purely look at the customer and the needs, and then the service level, the product and the service that we provide. For our customers, everything. So the way we look into it locally is we've divided our corporate into 5 major sectors, starting from hospitality, hotels, 5-star, 3-star, hospitals, furnishing hospitals. That's really kicked out in the last 2-3 years, and I feel it'll go further. This market will grow. And then your residentials, like the big residential project, banking, financial institutions. It's a huge portfolio for office furniture there. I'm in the industry, like the textile industry or wherever there's manufacturing. So, last but not the least, the government sector.
With the technology, skill, expertise, and wide variety of quality products, Interwood is now poised to take its trusted brand of furnishing solutions to the global arena.
All right, thank you to our sponsor, Interwood. Now we'd like to take a 5-minute break. If everyone can come back after 5 minutes. We have got a couple of speakers left, architect Manal Abdullah and architect Mansoor Ahmed Qureshi. So they'll be joining us after the break for their sessions, and we look forward welcoming you after 5 minutes. See you guys. start our session at 5:10. 5:10. So in about 12 minutes time. Thank you.